ANC is once again mooting the idea of changing the mandate of the South African Reserve Bank. Discussions were held when the party reconvened its national conference last week. The SARB is currently responsible for monetary policy. It sets interest rates to control inflation. The Reserve Bank has repeatedly stated that economic growth and job creation falls outside of its mandate, which is what the ANC would like to see included in the scope of the bank's work. Distinguished Professor of Sociology at the University of Johannesburg, that's Patrick Bond, says while it can be done, implementation from the ANC is unlikely.
The main example, again, the U.S. Fed, I happen to work in the Fed for a couple of years, does have an employment mandate, full employment, in fact. So that's even more radical than the ANC is proposing with this sort of recent rhetoric. They had tried, if you recall, to try to get the Reserve Bank under state control and the independence of the Reserve Bank in question. And that failed in the recent years because, according to Reserve Bank Governor Kganyago, you'd have to basically pay the current shareholders, private shareholders, enormous amounts of money because of the reserves held by the central bank. In the US, they don't have that problem. But I must say, certainly working there under the leadership of Paul Volcker, a very famous central banker, it really didn't make any difference at all. He simply ignored that mandate. And I think that gets to the real crux of the problem, which is ideology. So the ANC is very good in their schizophrenic way of talking left, but walking right. And that may be, again, what we're seeing with the January 8th statement, the resolutions, and the continuing blaming of the central bank when it would be fairly easy to fix the system. You just put on tighter exchange controls to prevent capital flight, and then you force the central bank governor to lower the interest rate through, threatening to fire him or putting big social pressure on him. And that actually did occur in April 2020. You remember when nobody would buy South African bonds during the lockdown crisis. Well, central banker Lesego Kganyago did turn dramatically to the left by buying government bonds, just at least for 1 week. And that does show it can be done.